iBrainHacks presents 20 Habits You Need to Surrender If Want to Be Successful. Once a very wise man said, "You consume your entire time on earth stuck in the maze, pondering how you'll get away from one day, and how great it will be, and envisioning that future makes a big difference for you, yet you never do it. You simply utilize the future to get away from the present." Every so often, we plunk down and attempt to sort out what we need to begin doing. We consider our previous activities and their outcomes, where we are at this moment, and what we ought to do straight away. While these are sensible strides to take, we disregard the way that placing more things into our lives implies we need to take out different parts. All things considered, we just have such a lot of time and energy in the day. Furthermore, to account for what we need to do, we need to dispose of our negative routines first. iBrainHacks presents 20 things you need to surrender now. Number 1. Quit any pretense of staring off into space about what's to come. Exploration has discovered that fantasizing about an admired future reductions in energy levels, giving you less inspiration to really seek after those fantasies. So when does envisioning the future become hindering, and when is it useful? Consider the distinction between the two: fantasizing as opposed to imagining. At the point when you fantasize, you envision something so inaccessible from the truth it's troublesome or difficult to make a move. Imagining the future, then again, is tied in with seeing sensible potential outcomes of where your regular activities can lead you. At the point when you can separate between the two, you figure out how to push ahead as opposed to imagining that you are. Number 2. Quit any pretense of searching for motivation to begin. We fall into the snare of believing there's an ideal opportunity to seek after an objective. Possibly we stand by until our professions have arrived at a specific point, we've gathered sufficient cash, or somebody has given us the consent to do as such. And keeping in mind that specific conditions are superior to other people, the stars won't adjust to make the ideal situation. Somebody I knew once said that there will never be an ideal chance to begin a family since something consistently disrupts everything. Additionally, there will never be an ideal opportunity to begin dealing with your thought, taking a stab at something new, or getting expertise. The best ideal opportunity to begin is currently. En route, you'll commit errors and continue to learn. Number 3. Quit any pretense of trusting that your circumstance will change. Being trapped in a hopeless cycle can prompt an endless loop. You feel down, so you don't successfully change your circumstance, which aggravates you. When you get into this cycle, every one of the parts of your life starts to overload one another. In case you're feeling caught, center around only one thing you can deal with today. Before you can run, you need to walk. Improve one little part of your life first. Number 4. Quit any pretense of planning something only to fit in. At the point when you attempt to change what your identity is to fit in, you can just imagine for such a long time. Inevitably, you become depleted. Perhaps you're pursuing a vocation that doesn't exactly measure up for your character since it's esteemed, or remaining in a terrible circumstance inspired by a paranoid fear of progress. The additional time and exertion you use, the more troublesome it becomes to cut misfortunes. Be straightforward to yourself. In the event that you need to change your inclinations, qualities, and convictions to fit in someplace, it implies you're in some unacceptable spot. Number 5. Quit any pretense of living to satisfy others. Indeed, you need to deal with individuals around you, like your family and individuals around you. However, that doesn't mean you ought to do things exclusively to satisfy others. On the off chance that you generally follow others' assumptions to your own disappointment, you'll wind up thinking back and feeling disdain. It's an ideal opportunity to take an interruption and assess what it is that you need. Number 6. Quit any pretense of accusing others. Now and again it truly is another person's issue that something awful occurred. However, how would you be able to respond? Accusing others is a worthless exercise that doesn't settle anything. All things considered, it makes more outrage and never really pushes you forward. On the off chance that somebody violated you, let go of those unpleasant sentiments and proceed onward. Pardon. Zero in on your activities, all things being equal. Number 7. Quit any pretense of stressing over factors beyond your ability to do anything about it. Uneasiness is particularly common today, with every one of the occasions occurring in our lives and past. Ongoing tension shows itself into actual side effects, like breathing issues, ulcers, and coronary illness. While there are a limitless number of things you can stress over, there are just a limited number of things you can handle. Recall that you can't change what others say or think about you. You can't choose the moves others make, or what they mean for you. What you can do, however, is choose what your subsequent stage is. Number 8. Quit any pretense of focusing on things about yourself you can't change. There are sure parts about yourself that you can't change, for example, where and when you were conceived. Doubtlessly that a portion of these variables influence your life for an enormous scope. Be that as it may, when you stall out on them, you lose center around different pieces of your life, like your demeanor, your activities, and the chances before you. Acknowledge the things you can't change, so you can begin dealing with what you can change. Number 9. Quit any pretense of harping on previous oversights. We as a whole have minutes in our past that, upon reflection, might have been improved or in an unexpected way. Every so often, I keep thinking about whether things might have turned out better had I settled on various options. All things considered, I remind myself not to stall out on the past. Rather than contemplating over what you can't change, utilize those previous oversights to proactively consider how you would do things today. Disappointments can be utilized for your potential benefit, in case you're willing to transform them into exercises for what's to come. Number 10. Quit any pretense of searching for easy routes. A few techniques are more viable than others. For example, working with a coach to improve than constraining yourself to go to the rec center. Yet, that is not what I mean by alternate route. A colleague I know consistently pursues the greatest business openings without placing in the work. That implied not setting aside the effort to acquire the trust of others, lacking tolerance to get results, and settling on imprudent choices without thinking about the outcomes. On the off chance that you seek after an undertaking that has taken others a lot of time, energy, and dedication, it will not be fun and energizing constantly. Try not to go pursuing an enchantment slug. Number 11. Quit any pretense of getting occupied by the most up-to-date craze. New individuals, spots, and things are continually intriguing. However, after rehashed openness, even the most energizing things ultimately lose their gloss. You begin to glance around and keep thinking about whether that new chance is better, or on the off chance that you should drop what you need to pursue something different. In any case, before you do, recollect that everything has its drawback. While it's completely conceivable you may wind up in a superior circumstance, you may likewise wind up understanding that things aren't pretty much as engaging as they once appeared. Number 12. Quit any pretense of ignoring the present. Our brains are so bustling meandering to a wide range of spots that we neglect what's before us. We become involved with our recollections, desires, and fantasies. Simultaneously, we abuse our time and pass up the present. In case you're going on a climb, appreciate the greenery and quiet hints of nature. In case you're chipping away at something, quit staring off into space about your awesome excursion. It is appalling to glance back at basic occasions and understand that your brain was somewhere else all that time. Number 13. Quit any pretense of getting things done immediately. Do you continually feel like you simply need to accomplish something, or have a type of plan arranged? While we ordinarily see these as certain properties, they become dangerous when we neglect to pause and ask, why? Before, I've ended up taking on an errand without pondering whether it's the correct advance to make. On the off chance that you end up getting certain schedules, consider where they've driven and what made you get them up in any case. Have you been getting things done or jumping at promising circumstances since they're appropriate for you, or essentially on the grounds that they're advantageous? Number 14. Surrender void guarantees. There are fewer things more disillusioning than when somebody makes guarantees, yet never conveys. Ultimately, the individual's words lose their importance and become without trust. On the off chance that you need to help somebody, contemplate what that involves prior to offering to do as such. Strangely, individuals that talk the most intense regularly wind up doing the least. The following time you need to accomplish something, step up and help out. Allow the outcomes to represent themselves. Number 15. Quit any pretense of buying objects to look for bliss. It could be illogical, however burning through cash on encounters makes more prominent fulfillment than actual articles. Encounters, because of their transitory nature, make affectionate recollections. We additionally develop further bonds to individuals and spots we experience on an abroad outing or a trip. Articles, notwithstanding, lose their underlying sparkle as we become acclimated to them. So on the off chance that you need to get yourself something, think about joining a class over buying one more piece of style. Number 16. Quit any pretense of underestimating things. It's not difficult to acknowledge the things and individuals we have as guaranteed. We become heedless of what we have until we lose them. At the point when you underestimate things, nothing you have can at any point delight you. To battle this current, here's something I've been rehearsing. I say, thank you, to individuals at whatever point conceivable. That implies saying thanks to individuals for giving me input, for informing me about something, or for a nice thought. At the point when you thank somebody, the other individual feels appreciated and you inside become more thankful, in any event, for the seemingly insignificant details. Inevitably, your environmental factors begin to look somewhat more splendid. Number 17. Quit any pretense of setting to the side your well-being. At the point when you're up to speed in the tornado of life, well-being can wind up shoved aside. To complete more, you cut back on rest and avoid your activity schedule. After a tiring morning, you get that sweet beverage since you need a jolt of energy. Shockingly, the impacts of awful well-being propensities don't appear until some other time. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute suggests getting your cholesterol estimated at any rate once at regular intervals beginning from age 20, which implies that well-being is certifiably not a later issue, however something that should be tended to now. Number 18. Quit any pretense of riding the passionate roller coaster. Try not to allow every one of the easily overlooked details to get to you. In the event that something incredible happened to you, appreciate it while it keeps going. In the case of something deplorable occurred, realize that it will pass. Recollect that both great and terrible things are limited. In any event, when lasting changes occur, we become familiar with them and slowly get back to our standard bliss levels. People are strikingly strong animals. Number 19. Quit any pretense of allowing others to set the guidelines for you. At the point when individuals advise you to stop making a decent attempt, you keep thinking about whether they're correct. At the point when they show you what's worthy, it's a lot simpler to bring down the bar for yourself as opposed to raise it for other people. We wind up saying, this and that did that, so it should be alright. If there's a crisscross between your principles and somebody else's, it's an ideal opportunity to invest more energy with individuals who raise you to the level you need to be. Number 20. Quit any pretense of letting another person decide your value. At the point when somebody adulates you, it feels unimaginably fulfilling. Sadly, dismissal and brutal words have the contrary impact by 10 times. You quickly feel emptied as your certainty gets taken out of you. Pushing ahead, these previous recollections shading your way to deal with future undertakings. However, the thing is, everybody has various feelings. What one individual hates, someone else totally cherishes. What your identity is and what you do will not suit everyone. Choose your own value. Thanks for watching iBrainHacks. Please like, share and subscribe our channel for videos from iBrainHacks.